Domestic violence often leads to brain injury, which is a serious and often overlooked consequence of abuse.
Women with disabilities are, I can't remember the figure, it's 63% more likely to experience family violence. And it might be sexual violence, it could be financial abuse, it could be gaslighting, a whole range of things. A lot of women might acquire an ABI because of the violence they're experiencing. And I've learned, even in the short time I've been here, and this is day 2, is that concussion, which someone might not lose consciousness, but it's that concussion they get daily, weekly, of being punched in the head that accumulates, and then they do have an ABI, and trying to assist them to understand what's happening and what assistance we can provide. And when it's an intimate partner violence, I'm learning how that all works, because that's new to me, I guess, to better understand the pathological impact that has. So that's been really insightful, and I'm sitting on that communication, just trying to better understand what it is to be a victim survivor.
Although domestic violence has been around since the beginning, it has only been a real subject of study in recent times.
I went to graduate school being very interested in domestic violence more generally, so child abuse, partner violence, and when I got to graduate school, I started doing volunteer work in a shelter for women who had experienced partner violence. And I was also learning clinical neuropsychology, so understanding the brain behavior relationships, and what happens when you have a brain injury, and how you can sustain brain injuries, etc. So as I worked with these women, I realized these women seem to be sustaining brain injuries, and they also seem to have a lot of the symptoms that people who otherwise sustain brain injuries have. And so I said, I wonder what we know about this, because this seems to be a real problem. And then there wasn't anything in the literature. So I said, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to try to study this, and that's what did it. And then I just did that for my dissertation research and found a ridiculously high rate of brain injuries in women who experience partner violence and negative associations with those brain injuries. So I kind of just tried to keep it moving. Well, if you go across the globe, in some places it's actually acceptable and sanctioned to beat your wife.
Yes.
And the family members can do it too. So that's certainly, in the United States, it's not sanctions, there are crimes, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen all the time and people might not take it as seriously, but it's actually, there is a difference there. So, and then there's some cultures where it's like you're married to this person or religion, you need to make it work.
Yes.
So there's various factors. But then there's also just the fact that once women are in a relationship, people go into relationships because they care for the other person. And then, there's still maybe that caring. And so there's a lot of different things that go into it. Finances.
Yes.
Ability to have other people to go to.
Yes.
Or other people, it's like if you're isolated or not.
And shame as well.
Stigma is absolutely huge. Oh yeah, women have said, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't leave because I had no money. I was embarrassed. I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't know what to do with my kids.
Yes.
And the whole thing.
National and international events, such as the Brain Injury Conference held in Adelaide September last year, the opportunity is there to present research findings and open doors for further research.
For what I'm trying to do and raise awareness, I think it's huge, because right now I just had the opportunity to share this information with so many people who probably have no idea really kind of what is going on. I wouldn't know if I didn't study this. There's a lot of stuff. Obviously I've been doing this for years, so I've taught myself, I've learned, but this isn't something that's talked about. You don't, see this everywhere. There's not pamphlets lying around telling people about this or how to understand partner violence or how that may interact with brain injury. So for me, it's really exciting to have the opportunity to share what I do and this information with so many people. There's been a tremendous growth in the attention that this topic has gotten over the years. There's like nothing before. Now there's still not a lot in the sense of if you compare it to other groups who experience brain injuries. But there are many researchers in this field doing this work now versus before, where there was like a couple other people or I kind of knew absolutely everybody who might be doing this work.
Yes.
Now I meet new people, and I'm like, oh wow, you're doing this too. And so it's really fabulous that there's just a greater recognition that this is an issue. And people now have like other people to go to say, oh wow, like this is an issue, can I learn from you or whatever. So it's like we're getting the building blocks for establishing a greater infrastructure for establishing this as a real issue that needs to be addressed and understood and studied.
The Australian Bureau of Statistics data from 2021 to 22 indicates that approximately 1 in 6 women and 1 in 18 men had experienced physical or sexual violence by a current or previous cohabiting partner since the age of 15. Emotional and economic abuse rates are also significant. Data continues to show that certain groups are disproportionately affected, including Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women, women with disabilities, and young women. The ANROS Conference 2025, held in May, focused on centering the voices and experiences of children and young people affected by domestic, family, and sexual violence. Research from Monash Business School in March 2025 explored the link between unexpected events, e.g., sporting outcomes, natural disasters, and spikes in domestic abuse. The need for early intervention strategies and making domestic abuse everyone's responsibility remains a key area of discussion and research. Understanding and addressing coercive control continues to be a critical focus, with discussions around legislative responses and raising public awareness. Research is ongoing to understand and address technology-facilitated abuse as a significant form of domestic violence. Building trauma-informed systems and centering survivor voices in service delivery are increasingly recognized as essential for effective support. The severe economic consequences of domestic violence are receiving greater attention, with calls for targeted interventions like expanding support for student victim survivors and increasing awareness of paid domestic violence leave. Justice reforms. New South Wales implemented justice reforms in March 2025 aimed at boosting safety for victim survivors, including requiring magistrates or judges to make all bail decisions in domestic violence cases and introducing tougher penalties for breaches of apprehended domestic violence orders, ADVOs. The ongoing implementation and next steps for the National Plan to End Violence Against Women and Children 2022 to 2032 continue to be a focus of policy discussion. Advocacy groups have noted that the 2025 to 26 federal budget provided limited new and additional funding to help victim survivors and the sector supporting them, despite the recognised national crisis. Australia's National Research Organisation for Women's Safety continues to produce and disseminate research to inform policy and practice. The 2025 conference is a significant event. Actively engages in research and advocacy to influence policy and community attitudes. The Australian Institute of Health and Welfare provides crucial national statistics and summaries on family, domestic, and sexual violence. New South Wales Bureau of Crime Statistics and Research offers state-specific data and research on domestic violence trends. The latest findings in Australia in 2025 continue to highlight the devastating impact of domestic violence across various aspects of life, particularly for women. Research is focusing on understanding triggers, centering victim experiences, and exploring effective prevention and intervention strategies. Policy responses are evolving, with a focus on strengthening legal protections and improving support services, although advocacy groups indicate there is still a significant need for greater action and funding.
That's all for this week. If you want to get in touch, send us an email. We'll see you next week.